We're live. We're live. Hello. We are live. Welcome to the. Is this the first, Sean? Is this the first horror hangouts of 2024?
Yes, it is.
It
Yes.
is.
It is.
So yeah,
Wow.
my fucking brain has turned to shite. Anywho, and I'm after losing the fucking questions. Give me 1 second.
Well, as long as you
Uh,
didn't lose the regular questions and only the fucking questions.
Yeah.
Uh,
No one's gonna lose fucking around here.
Bonus questions for the end of the show.
so yeah, tonight's stream is all about fucking science gone mad, from Brundlefly to fucking Victor Frankenstein or Henry Frankenstein or whichever fucking member of that weird German family. We're talking scientific horror, and we have a bunch of questions. But before we start, I'm going to introduce you to our mad fucking lot here. And starting off with the always awesome, always legendary Cara from Horror Retrospective. Then our valiant leader, Sean Erskine, a man whose beard has wrote tales across fucking time. Then below me there is the always animated, literally and figuratively, Trivial Teeter, the grandpa of horror and a man who has sage wisdom, Monty G, and my lovely lady and her lovely daughter, Jen and Sparky from Jen's Reviews from the Grave.
We're here.
We're not worthy.
We're the tag team match no one cares about, but just fill out the card pretty much.
Don't use tag team in relation.
Not that time.
But anyway, so I came up with a bunch of questions, and I'm kind of just fucking trying to suss out my own answers as I read the fucking questions now, because I'm shit at this fucking this making up. Well, I'm not bad. It's just it's kind of on the fly. So yeah, I came up with 5 questions, and I ran it through with everyone, and I gave everyone kind of a heads up on the.
You gave everyone head, darling?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, oh boy. Here we go.
I did, and
Yeah, it must have been that
TYTV.
extra Guinness that made it so
Hey,
good.
Dan.
Fun fact: I don't drink that shit. No Irish person, no self-respecting Irish person drinks that fucking muck.
It's a myth, huh?
It's if you want to fucking shit your pants in the middle of the fucking night, when you're drunk, go right ahead.
Well, it's brown out,
What's
brown
the
in, I
idea?
suppose.
It's laxative. It's laxative.
You mean you
and,
don't-
Painting.
Yeah.
You mean you don't use Irish Spring?
The Irish Spring is what you get if you have too much fucking Guinness. You're at your prick. But yeah, anyway, so I just had a busy weekend, and I'm still trying to fucking sort out stuff with work, so I kind of fell behind. But I have 5 questions, and I'm going to start with the first one. And the first question I have, and I will start with our fearless leader, Sean. Sean, what is your favorite science gone mad movie?
The Curse of Frankenstein from Hammer.
Hey, Hammer Classic.
Oh,
Hey,
yes.
Hammer Classic. Give us a proper look there, Sean. Give us a proper look. There we go.
Sexy.
There you go. So that's why does this one come to the forefront for you for science
Well,
gone mad?
now, I almost was going to say the Universal Frankenstein, but I think the main part that it's all about science gone mad is better represented to me in The Curse of Frankenstein, where a lot of the original Universal one is more about like the monster and all that, but it's a phenomenal movie. But I think having Frankenstein himself, Victor Frankenstein, be the focus of the film is what makes it stand out for me and makes it so special. And when you have a phenomenal actor such as Peter Cushing, and he does such a brilliant job, and he just really sells it, the fact that he's so obsessed with science, and he will do absolutely anything and everything to further his experiments along, including madness, including killing people straight up. He will stop at nothing, and that's what Hammer does so well with that whole Frankenstein series, but especially in the Curse of Frankenstein, it doesn't hurt to have Christopher Lee himself as the monster.
Yeah, I like the way Cushing kind of hit both ends of the spectrum with Hammer. He was like the hero with Van Helsing, and then he
Yeah.
was the villain. The actual rather fucking there's a funny scene. I don't know if it's that one, Sean, but where the maid is murdered, possibly sexually assaulted by his creature, and then it's a smash cut to him having breakfast, and he's like, where are my eggs? Where's the maid this morning? You fucking dipshit. But yeah, no, you're dead right. Cushing fucking kills it, Nad, and it's an absolute classic. Can't argue with you there. Cara, what about yourself? What is your favorite science gone mad horror movie?
I originally was going to say Splice just because I like the story, but then you said Brundlefly, and I'm like, that one's a lot more fun.
The Fly, 1986 is The Fly.
Yeah.
Any particular reason that it sticks with you? Why do you think it kind of keeps that throne or earns that position?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it growing up, so I mean, the whole teleportation thing and the fly thing, I'm like, I always thought that was, I didn't really know what to think of it because I was a kid, and just the fact that this guy became like this weird creature, I don't know, I just think that's kind of cool. I mean, the cool thing about it is, it was an accident, but didn't turn out the way he expected, but it still had some interesting results that he was willing to study.
Yeah. It's and kind of like the most interesting thing is like the kind of antagonists in movies like that never start with ill intentions. Like Goldblum's Brundlefly suffers from motion sickness, and I think that's one of the reasons he developed the teleporter. So it's just a dude who just had fucking trouble traveling from point A to point B, and he ended up turning himself into a giant fucking housefly and having to put his dick in the medicine cabinet. So like,
yeah,
it's a good movie. It's a cracker of flick, and it's iconic Cronenberg, I think.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Cronenberg, but I'm just old school. I just can't, as much as I appreciate the remake with The Fly and what he did, I just cannot get off the Vincent Price The Fly.
Oh, that's a great one too.
Yeah, I know. I just, when I first saw that, and I was a kid, so that might have been 9 or 10 years old when I first saw The Fly, and seeing that scene where help me, I never can't forget that scene. That scene always gets me.
And it is one of the top 2 or 3 uses of heavy duty press to kill one's foes.
Smash their head.
Yes.
Enjoy Dice.
Hey, Dice. I was on last night till 6 a.m. Dice had a really cool fucking trivia game, but I'm not built for these late nights anymore, or fucking mornings, I should say. Triv, what about you? What is your favorite flick of science gone mad?
Well, I had The Fly, and I had Curse of Frankenstein on my list, so I will go to my third pick, which was Killer Condoms, Attack of the Killer Condoms.
Nice.
Nice, baby.
I had an idea. You or Jim were going to pick that one.
But that's the thing. On its surface, it is an incredibly weird, goofy, like B movie. But you go down deeper, and there's so much in it about like the AIDS or the HIV epidemic and the way that people were treated. And I don't know about you, but anytime there's a prophylactic that can bite someone's dick off, and
nothing more terrifying than predatory prophylactic.
Absolutely.
Well, that on one side, and then on the other side, having a killer condom riding on the back of a rubber ducky. Those two exist side by side, and I love it. And I mean, just the character design, and the fact that it was designed by H.R. Geiger, and there's just so much cool stuff about it. I don't know. It always sticks with me as a favorite.
Yeah, I will admit that is a nice design that they gave the creature.
Yes.
Yes,
Blue
very.
rubber.
I mean, you know, we just had Dune come out with their popcorn buckets, and you know, it could have ended up looking like that. Thank God it didn't.
Jesus
You mean a
Christ.
popcorn pussy?
Yes.
Monty,
Kara,
what?
have you seen that yet, Kara?
I'm sorry.
Have you seen what was that again? Trip?
Dune
Killer
popcorn
Oh, it was the
bucket?
Dune,
Killer
the AMC Dune popcorn bucket.
Oh,
No, I haven't.
It looks like a pocket pussy. It's great.
It's supposed to be like the sandworms.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the sandworms, but
But-
it doesn't look like a sandworm.
Yeah,
it's a
whoever
giant
designed-
flashlight. It's a giant flashlight. That's what it fucking looks like. Monty, what about yourself, sir? What's your favorite science gone mad movie?
There's a lot I could have chose from. I could have chosen the original Fly. Could have chosen the Fly. Could have chose. Let's see. I was looking it up. A whole bunch of other. Curse of Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, Universal Monsters Frankenstein. But I decided because actually, Kara, she actually mentioned it first. I'm going to go with Splice.
Good choice.
Good
I like
choice.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. You have these two scientists. They decide, hey, look, we're going to change humanity by splicing together these two things. And when things don't go well, the female, Sarah Pauly, she decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and create this new humanoid called, what was the name of her again?
Dren.
Gren. Yeah, Gren. Yes.
Dren.
Yeah, and that relationship was pretty interesting. I think that made the movie, and especially towards the end of the third act, when they forget that it changed sex.
Yeah.
Oh, Splice.
It's good in some ways and problematic in others, but at the same time, it's still a pretty cool kind of flick.
Di says she's not. I'm not eating out of that. No, I
You have other
wouldn't.
men, but people barely.
What's this butter substitute you're using for this? Why is it slimy?
Oh God, I am so sorry. I did.
Oh man.
Hey, Creepy McGee. Hey, Cat Dad.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's a cool movie, and it's from the makers of Cube, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it
And,
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
Cool.
it's a solid sci-fi flick. Jen, Christian, what about or Sparky? What about yourself?
For me, there, like Monty said, there's a lot of films we could cover. I mean, and we can go from many different aspects. I want to bring up one that nobody's brought up, but I have a feeling you might want to mention it. So
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to talk about one, and it came out last year. It was my #2 film of the year, and I absolutely loved it, thought it was brilliant, and that would be Birth and Rebirth. And I feel a lot of people have really
that was
slept on
good.
this.
That was a good one.
Yes, and the reason this is particularly my favorite is because, yes, we have kind of a female Herbert West. Our two main characters is a concerning of a mother who's a nurse and another woman who works with the dead, and she's looking for a specific time. She's basically trying to fight death, and we go through an arc with these two characters. And the mother and the other mother we're following, she loses her daughter. Her daughter happens to be the right specimen to fight death with, and she figures out what's going on. And these two women form a family, and it's not so much about the little girl. Like, she's the Frankenstein.
She's sort of an afterthought.
But it's not about her. And for me, what I find so interesting is it's science, right? No emotions, no nothing. And as we go on, and that's true with the original Frankenstein, it's about, no matter how clinical, no matter how scientific you want to be, emotions make everything very messy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is such a brilliant thing. And again, that is whether you're doing comedic ones or more serious ones like the original Frankenstein, emotions really fuck you up.
Yeah.
So I think it's an underrated movie that not enough people have seen. And I love how the two characters really change. Like the mother, she's tough, but she has a lot of emotions, but she's not willing to go to certain things. And then our other character is, and we go from different, it's just really, it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's better than the Black
Anyway,
Or
Edward
Monster.
Furlong and I like
That
that
sounds
movie,
very
but whatever.
interesting, actually.
It is. It's a heartbreaking movie, and it has a little bit of Pet Cemetery vibes too, which is
Little
probably
bit.
another
Oh.
reason why it's always connected with me. I didn't explain it very well, guys.
That's
No,
okay.
you did a good job.
No, you
It
did. You
sounds
did.
good.
You did.
It's
I wanna
intriguing.
see
Cut
while
yourself
watching.
short.
Yeah, same.
Thank you.
Anyway, Edward Furlong and computer games. A movie that sort of bridges the line of sort of pseudo supernatural, pseudo science, but I feel like it skirts the line pretty well. Is Brain Scan from the '90s, which has become a new recent favorite of
I love
mine.
that
I
one.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was
I
good.
only
That was a good
I only
one, yeah.
recently saw it like a couple months ago finally, and I had a really good time with it and really liked the way it blended in. Because the movie, it's technically set in like the future, but it's the future through the ends of like how a 70s cyberpunk would do like the future, but not like the Blade Runner style future, like far future, just slightly more advanced. Like everyone has like basically Skype or Discord, but they're on like old tube computers and stuff and things like that. There's fun little uses of technology. Everything is still run on like cassette tapes and stuff. I like the way they do utilize that, and it's a cool melding of like sort of a pseudo slasher elements with our villain who can travel through, can be controlled through fucking computer games and stuff. I like the way it uses a lot of its aesthetics and the science feel. Another honorable mention would probably be Frankenhooker, just because I'm a Henwater slut.
I'm still
yeah.
surprised.
I was thinking about that one earlier.
Yeah.
I'm
About
surprised
that
you
one.
didn't bring up Rocky.
Oh yeah, well, obviously Rocky Horror too. But
And also Jeff Fahey and the Lawnmower Man.
God,
I mean,
no.
technically,
No.
it's not a good movie or a good
All
story.
right, let's sit
but-
down and talk about why Job's Ward is actually the best Lawnmower Man movie. Clearly.
Ella, what do people think of the Lawnmower? Because it was on last night. I watched it
that's why.
because it was on last night, and the book is the novella is very different from the movie.
It is.
And I love Jeff Fahey, but he can't save. He's good in it, but he can't save the film.
The effects are both
No,
bad and worse
that
part of it.
movie has big ambitions, but doesn't have the power to execute them. Sadly enough.
Computer power or star power.
Yeah.
Or
Stephen King power.
Today, it might have been
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a movie that kind of has a cult status at the moment. The Upgrade. I really like
Oh
that
yes.
movie. I
You like that
because
one.
one thing I find interesting is it goes back to something a lot of people don't kind of find it hard to kind of discuss about medical breakthroughs and how a lot of them can have military implications and applications. Because you have this guy who is basically given a new lease of life, but he's essentially turned into a weapon. And it also makes me think that like all the medical discoveries we have, such as like things about cardiac studies and kind of different inoculations and vaccines, they all came from fucking Nazi war criminals and the fucking the space race. So it's,
Most of modern science did, yeah.
yeah, it's just like fucking how like do the ends justify the means, and I like it as well. It's a vigilante movie, but it also asks ethical questions about technology and like the application. Should you use something? Sure, if it can make the world a better place, but if it also has the application to cause destruction, should it be kind of nullified, dare I say? I think, like, you know, how many people, we're all glad we get like vaccinated and inoculated against stuff, but if we found out in the morning that it was kind of I can never pronounce the town.
Statistically.
No, Statistical, the experiment where
Strategically.
No, Jen.
No. He talked about the experiment.
The African American town. They were.
I know you're talking about. Yeah,
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee. The Tuskegee experiment.
Tuskegee.
It's like, would you be okay if you knew that innocent people were fucking basically experimented on to get that breakthrough? And I think that the Upgrade kind of also deals with that kind of ramifications and implications. But yeah, the Upgrade, I think, and I love the 80s aesthetic. I'm a sucker for the old kind of sci-fi aesthetic. Guys with fucking shotguns built into their arm. That's fucking
Mm.
So
badass.
good.
That
But
sounds good.
You know, and that's the thing about the 80s too. Like, there is something visceral about mad scientist movies in the 80s. Like, there's just
Oh yeah.
there's that
Mhm.
uncanny valley of just like, oh my, it makes your skin crawl.
yeah,
Mhm.
like RoboCop even. Jesus.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
It's
No,
like we were able to save the arm, lose the arm. It's a perfectly good fucking arm, and they cut it off him anyway. It's horrible.
No, I love the way the 80s like sort of envisioned the future because it's so drastically different as opposed to like how like the 50s or the 60s envisioned the future of like
Oh yeah.
Jetson, super idealized. Whereas the 80s was like, no, we're further technologically advanced, but we can see where this shit is going, and we're just way more nihilistic because of the Cold War and the AIDS crisis and all the human atrocities going on right now around us. So we're just super nihilistic and have these really interesting dark views of what the future is going to look like. That
I agree.
love.
That's a good point.
Also, T.Y. Teeny, you brought up the movie. I kept feeling like I was forgot one. May. I love Lucky McKee's May. That is possibly my favorite
Someone
readout
said that in
of
the chat.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Dan said it.
Yeah, that is that. I was sitting here fucking for like 5 minutes trying to think of a movie I forgot, and that was it.
May's brilliant.
I love May.
He said another good one, Demon Sea, is pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Where
That's
the fucking
creepy.
house decides
Mhm.
to diddle the dude's wife. It's like,
Computed trying to, inseminate the woman. Yeah.
He also mentioned Flesh for Frankenstein, which is quite an interesting take on the classic
Mwah.
mad
I'm
scientist.
surprised you didn't bring that up.
Peak cinema. Peak cinema.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's our top favorite sci-fi horrors or sci-fi science gone mad horrors. Number 2, favorite mad scientist. Sean, favorite mad scientist.
Well, it'd be my favorite horror performance of all time, Herbert
Ooh.
West in
Yeah.
Reanimator.
I figured someone would bring it up.
God damn it.
Yep.
I feel like he combines, the best of Victor and Henry Frankenstein in a more kind of modern setting. Just what a great performance by Jeffrey Combs, and he's so madcap. He's so like insane, but at the same time, you just love him. He's just brilliant, and very similar to the Hammer's Victor Frankenstein, especially in the film or the aesthetic between him and Dan, and how he kind of keeps reeling Dan back into helping them, just like Paul and Victor in The Curse of Frankenstein. I just thought it's great. He's funny, he's just nuts, and I love it.
Do you have a preference between Bride and the original?
Yeah, I'd say the original. Although I think he's almost as equally as good in Bride. Maybe a little more humorous in Bride than the original.
Definitely.
Yo, Strange Monkey.
Hey,
Yeah,
Strange
no,
Monkey.
Herbert West is fucking iconic. Like, even if he's not in the 3 movies, I have a soft spot for the 3rd one. It's fucking shit, but fucking he saves it.
I do
but like
too.
even
the theme song alone saves it.
yeah, they even
And the
when he
rats.
turns up in like the Evil Dead comics and stuff, they do kind of definitely inject Jeffrey Combs's personality into the comics. Speaking of Jeffrey Combs, Monty, did you recognize who Zodak was? Who voiced Zodak at the end of Revolution?
Yeah, it was Herbert West.
Yeah,
Yeah, you mean Jeffrey Combs? Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah, he was one of the whatchamacallits at the I think was it episode 5.
Yeah, the last episode. That was pretty cool. Kara seems to be indisposed. Kara, you indisposed?
Yeah, her phone was ringing.
Yeah. Monty, I'll bounce to you. Favorite mad scientist.
Favorite mad scientist. I mean, we got lots of mad scientists, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with not Herbert West, but he was in the film, but the guy from Beyond.
Ooh,
right.
Dr.
Good choice.
Pistorius.
Yeah, from Beyond. Yes, he was pretty mad.
Yeah.
Ted Lieu was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Dr. Pistorius with
Dr.
everyone growing
Pistorius.
dicks out of their heads. You
Yeah.
can't
Yep.
fucking-
Hey, if you can't grow a dick out of your head at this time and place, and what is the point?
Sure,
So
sure.
true.
Pineal gland. Pineal gland. We'll call it fucking a pineal
Yeah.
gland.
And we're gonna have it and be moving around and wiggling while fucking Barbara Crampton's in dominatrix gear. Yeah, we don't
I
know
know,
what
yes.
we're doing.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
Dice got it
It's
right.
exactly what H.P. Lovecraft would have wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, the man saying a masochistic scientist. Yes, that he was.
But yeah, I know he kicked ass. But even if he was a bit of a randy perv, what is it as well with fucking Stuart Gordon movies and Jeffrey Combs murdering a scientist at the start in a horrible way, and people are like, oh, this fucking guy, gotta kick him out of this university. Happens in fucking Reanimator, happens in this.
Have you guys seen Suitable Flesh?
I
Yes.
haven't got it yet.
I saw
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Horny as hell.
So horny. So good.
But did anybody have pineal glands growing out of their foreheads?
No.
No,
Might as well have.
but they takes place at
That is-
Miskatonic Medical University. Did you notice that?
Nice.
But,
That was the
Um,
one thing that held that movie back. I was shocked fucking West didn't show up at some point. I was shocked.
That
like,
would've been
what's
nice.
his name?
Twin
Jeffrey
brother.
Combs.
He could've
I
been
was
his
shocked
twin
Combs never
fucking
showed up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was shocked that he didn't show up.
but Monty, that guy, Pistorius would have been your top kind of mad scientist, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the guy he was out there, but he was smart, just crazy.
Triv, what about you? Who was your favorite mad scientist?
So when it comes to mad scientists, I tend to roll more to the funny. One of them is Dr. Forrester from MST3K, just because it was such a massive like thing on me as a kid. Like I kind of wanted to be sent up into space and like take on all of those terrible, terrible movies alongside everybody up there. My other one was Elijah Scruggs from Freaked, which is such a fun movie.
Damn it! I was gonna mention that one.
Is that Randy Quaid's character?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Like just a crazy amount of stuff. Like he embodies everything that's a mad scientist, but in kind of a more of a goofy, fun, like just but still demented way. I mean, he turns Mr. T, gives him like bad hair, and there's the worm guy and the one dude with the big nose and stuff, and man.
God damn it!
I love that scene where fucking the worm scientist gives your man advice and goes, "Oh, thank you so much. Is there anything I can do? Can you scratch my arse? I haven't scratched it in like 15 years." It's like
and Bobcat Goldthwait as the sock puppet head.
yeah, that,
Oh my god.
shot.
And the reveal at the end with them too.
Oh man.
Jen, my darling, who is your favorite mad scientist?
There's a lot I could go with. I could go with the cliche of Brundle Fly. I could have gone with him. May is fucking. I love. She's not my favorite, but well, she kind of is because she has to turn herself into a monster to try to get a human connection, and I like the dichotomy of that. I think that is fascinating. But probably, I guess, for a mad scientist that I'm surprised nobody has mentioned, it's a German mad scientist, and that would be from the Human Centipede.
How are you
I almost
surprised
went with
nobody
that.
mentioned?
I'm surprised.
almost
I
went with
kind of was waiting for someone to bring him up.
I almost went with that.
Oh, Dieter Laser.
And he really, like, our actor actually had a coat from the coat that they're wearing is from Nazi. And there are Marty and I discussed this with our thing. There are a lot of Nazi symbolism.
Well, yeah.
And the
Yeah,
movie.
they
yes.
Joseph Mengele the fuck out of that character.
Wow.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it does. And it's a fascinating movie. It really is. And, what he's trying to do and why he's doing it, but it is science. It is scientific.
Is it?
I mean,
Really nothing scientific about that.
The perverted one.
Hey,
I mean,
Why
think
don't you
Monty, the
sadomasochistic?
guy
It is-
proves you could take a shit juice to other people. If that isn't fucking groundbreaking,
Yeah.
I stand by my lady.
I mean, if you
The
really
man's
want to
a
be
fucking
thinking about
idiot.
it.
Pretty creative. pretty great.
You know what though?
You
if you
know,
wanted to
honestly,
figure
though,
out what
that
his
is pretty
porn did
accurate.
eventually like break down over the course of a couple people, that would be the test to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's but I'm surprised, and he's an interesting scientist. He's got a personality.
Dieter Laser's performance is the only thing for me that kind of works about any of those movies.
Yeah,
is just
he
Dieter
does.
Laser, but-
He because I only saw the first one. I couldn't take the other two. Yeah,
The
but
second
he-
one is my
The
favorite.
second
Actually,
one was a bridge too far for me. I do
Yeah.
like Laser, but he's definitely
The
like
third
the
one's so
Walmart
dumb.
version.
Yeah.
He's definitely the Walmart version of Udo Care. And if you can't get Udo
Yes.
Care,
Yes.
you know you fucked up somewhere. Sparky, what about yourself? What mad sciencey man?
There's a lot of really good ones out there. I love a lot of the various versions of the good Dr. Frankenstein. I was going to say Herbert West because I just love that little neurodivergent gremlin
who just wants to do science stuff.
He just wants to do science. He just, like, that is one of my massive big horror headcanons. Herbert West is just an asexual autistic person who just is hyper fixated on science.
And he's stuck around horny people.
I know, it's so tragic. He doesn't care about your sexual escapades or any of that stuff. Just science and maybe garlic bread, but mostly science.
Science.
I love the hell out of West. He's genuinely one of my favorite characters in all of horror. But
West,
one
I
I'll
suggest
mention.
you get a pencil.
What
Who's
was I
going to
supposed to
believe-
write? Cat dead, details later.
Who's going to believe a severed head? I mean, get a life. I love how sarcastic he just randomly will be at points. Frankenfurter's a great example of, like, I love the character. Are they kind of problematic and aged well? Questionably at points? Yeah.
How?
O'Brien's talked about it. There's some questionable stuff about how Frankenfurter is aged, but I don't feel like it's remotely malicious. I do love, especially Curry's version of the character quite
Just
a
as
bit.
horny. What's wrong with that?
You would know. You would know.
I mean, they just want to fuck everybody. I mean, is that bad? I mean, it may be a little selfish and it could spread things.
It's consensual off with them. It's you know, Jen was a flower child born a bit too fucking late. That's
Projecting.
I mean, they don't want to fuck children, so they're fine.
Jesus Christ.
Anywho, moving
Well, would you
swiftly on.
consider Rocky to be a
Uh-oh.
child? I mean, he's not that old.
Yeah,
Despite
Rocky's only
having
like
body
2
of an
days
adult.
old at that. Like, yeah,
So
no.
it was
Oh,
a Serbian
sweet mother of
film
Jesus. Is this
before
going to turn
the-
into the big? Is this
Well-
going to turn into the big debate as well with fucking Tom Hanks?
Anyway, as I was going to say, but probably my favorite Sans West would be one we briefly mentioned. But I love his interpretation of the character, that being Peter Cushing's interpretation of Dr. Frankenstein from the Hammer films. I love how much of a just downright bastard he is. Like, he is just a sheer son of a bitch. He's probably the most sinister and evil person in any of the Hammer films. But he's still so, like, kind of charismatic and likable, and you follow his journey over the course of those movies, where there's several points where you're kind of like, I mean, I've known you this long, I might as well stick with you. It's that really bad toxic relationship that you've been stuck in for years, but you just like, well, I mean, I don't
better
know.
the devil you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's that kind of character, and I always like those types of characters. And Cushing is just delightful in the role.
What about Christopher Lee and Gremlins too?
Yes,
you can't go wrong with that. Cara, what about you? Favorite mad scientist or?
Yeah, I mean, I like Herbert West. I know he's already been mentioned a bit, but I can't remember the character's name. I also like the guy from Frankenhooker.
yes.
Oh man, always good.
Yeah,
I forget what his name was. I know it's a spin on Victor.
yeah, it is. Blanking right now.
Would you consider, because of the way that Peter Cushing's Dr. Frankenstein is, would you consider him kind of in the same realm as Herbert West? Because they both do have kind of that, you know, they have one goal in mind.
I kind of would say so.
would.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think West is amoral, but I don't think he's malicious. I think when he does stuff that's kind of antagonistic, it's usually accidental like where he gets
Mhm.
attacked or stuff. Whereas Frankenstein, I think, just goes out of his way to fucking like he's like, oh, by the way, look at this picture near this banister. Oof, you fell, kind of fucking thing. So he
Yeah.
straight out murders people. Where I think West is more of someone who, by happenstance, comes by fucking test subjects. But yeah, Kara, any other one, or would that be your kind of main pick?
Yeah, I mean, those are the two main ones I can pretty much just think of. I mean, as far as ones that stick out in my mind, and they're both comedic-esque.
Mhm.
It's if I'm gonna make my pick, I'm going old school. I'm going very old school with this one. Dr. Jack Griffin from James Whale's The Invisible Man.
Ooh,
Ooh.
good
I
choice.
love
Good one.
this dude. This dude goes from tortured scientist to super villain. He's a fucking
Asshole.
super villain in the flip of a dime.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't cure myself, so I'm going to start derailing trains. That makes perfect sense, I
That
suppose.
seems like something you would do.
I love the fact. Yes, I would. I love the fact that he is probably the character in all of Universal who has the highest body count out of any of the Universal monsters.
Yeah, of all the ones.
I would say he probably has the highest body count. That train fucks up that train.
Yeah.
He's Jeffrey Dahmer if he was fucking invisible. He's like fucking murdering the shit out of people, and he enjoys it. You can't see he does skipping down the street singing mulberry bush
Yeah.
while wearing a pair of fucking trousers, or stealing a dude's bike, or like fucking, just that mad speech. Yes, no one can stop me. I can break into the holiest of holies. And his missus is like, look, can we just get married? I just wanted a small wedding, kind of fucking thing. But no, Claude Rains absolutely fucking
Oh, God.
makes that
Oh, yes.
character.
Yeah.
He
And
can't
it
be
Yeah,
Claude
he's
Rains.
just his voice. And for when it was made, they've dated, but they're still fairly fucking solid visual effects for
yeah.
when they were made.
They're
like.
so
Yeah,
cool.
the Lumaki thing is amazing.
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
but what was I gonna say to you again? I'm trying to think, is there anyone? There's obviously Herbert West, and there's some other kind of characters and stuff that I'm trying to think of. But no, I'm gonna go with Dr. Jack Griffin. I'm gonna go with that one. So my next question is, and I'm going to pose it to my lovely, gorgeous, fantastic, brilliant lady first,
Aw.
Jen Mitchell. What, Jen, is the scariest monster or creature made by a mad scientist?
I'll let you take this one.
Thanks. It is man. I honestly don't. Can I also have some time to think? Anyone else got anything they can go with first? I need some time to think on that one, actually.
I mean, I can go. I
Okay, go Trip.
Go ahead, Trip.
so Return of the Living Dead 3, there's a thing about killing, people
Ooh.
turning them into zombies, but there's something
Mhm.
so malicious about weaponizing those zombies and turning them into pieces of war equipment, especially
yeah.
to the Riverman. There were very few movies that get my goat or get me creeped out. Like, I can handle most body horror, I can handle gore, all that stuff, but there is something about that level of just maliciousness, especially to someone that did so much good for, I can't remember the name of the couple, but I just, oh my God.
Ronnie and Julie.
Yeah. There's
It's
just,
Romeo and Juliet.
oh
That's
yeah,
right.
you're right. I didn't even think about that. But just that, when they
Yeah,
do it
it's a
to
reta-
themselves. Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying,
Oh.
yeah, Return of the Living Dead's a whole retelling of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah, that would make a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
true.
It was okay when she did it to herself, but when they pop them in exoskeletons and, oh God, it just makes my skin crawl just thinking about it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to zombies, super soldiers, and shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That I did feel bad when they rigged him out with the exoskeleton and stuff, and he even when he's in like zombie form, he still helps the two escape, as you pointed out. That's a sympathetic. That's a modern day fucking Frankenstein right there, Frankenstein's monster.
I didn't even think about it, but that's true.
Monty, what about you, sir?
I'm trying to decide. I don't know if this will work or not, but give me a second here. I just gotta take a look at something. Jen, did you figure out what monster you're going to use?
Not yet. What about you, Spark?
I'll go with that. I'll go with that one. I was kind of kicking that one around. I'll mention the one Dice talked about. The giant brain from The Brain.
Oh God!
Is one of my favorite. Which is one of my favorite terrible 80s B movies. That's kind of glorious. Also, that effect does not work, but it's so goddamn charming. I love how little thought, ironically, went into like how it all works and how it came to be. Like, it's a giant blade that just can float around and chase you, but also has mind control power. So why does it need to float around and chase people? What? It's
because
very
it must.
bizarre. I love that movie though.
The tentacle steering wheel is
giant brain
fantastic.
puppet. It's so good. I love the tentacle steering wheel. Yeah. Why does it have teeth in the face? I don't know. It looks cool. It would look
Why
cool
did
on
E.T. look like a scrotum?
An 80s blockbuster.
True.
It was.
Exactly.
What did you say about ET Trip?
Oh, I said, you question why he's got a face. You could also question why E.T. looks like a scrotum, but, grand scheme, design choices were made.
Well, like E.T. was originally supposed to be a horror movie, so I suppose.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It was, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was, yes.
Supposed to be kind of
It should have been.
I don't know. I like
Maybe that would be
E.T.
a good
It's-
It was
I
okay.
do too.
It was okay.
I just in retrospect, he looks like a giant scrotum.
Just be better if he killed people.
I'm glad.
and
glad he
Sean, no
died. I
one will
wish
be
he
able to
died.
stop
I
him
wish he
because
stayed
they're all
dead.
armed with walkie-talkies now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A funny thing
Phone
about
home, F you.
a funny thing about ET. When I went to go see ET finally in the theaters, when ET's supposedly died and he's laid out in that white thing, me and my cousin cracked up laughing, and the whole audience wanted to kill us.
I remember you telling the story.
You're the real monster. You're the real monster.
I guess Mac and Me is kind of the horror of E.T. version of
Hey,
E.T.
no, okay, no, legit. Mac and Me's a better movie than E.T. in my opinion. I stand fucking by it.
Oh man. What was the one where there was it Extra that had they had like a poster for E.T. and they ripped it up, or maybe it was Star Wars and they ripped it up?
No, I think it was extra.
I can't. I
It was
couldn't
extra,
remember.
but also in Gremlins, one of the Gremlins knocks out an ET Teddy, and also in Critters, one of the Krites eats an ET Teddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Every
Yeah,
80s movie Alien, he just wanted to take a piece of that motherfucker out.
Yeah, because a lot of people got mad because the creature in the poster looked like ET, and people got mad about that.
Sean, what about yourself? What's your favorite movie monster made from science?
Well, I'm gonna go the classic Universal Frankenstein's monster, created by Boris Karloff. Yeah, it just works on every level for me, and I feel like it still does. The makeup looks fantastic still to this day, and his portrayal just really sells it. Like that first scene when he first turns around, he's like in the shadows, and you're looking, he's giving that face, It's just brilliant. I love it. I mean, like right there,
It's easy classic. You can't go wrong with that. Like, Jane, was there any other one that you wanted to? Is there anyone you can think of? Any creature or creation?
I'll go with what Sean said, except I'll go with Bride because I like when he says we belong in hell. That scene is pretty good.
Nice.
Carol, what about yourself?
I would just have to do a repeat. I like Frankenhooker. She's just a lot of fun, and she's all of these parts out of everyone. Yeah, got any money?
That's almost as bad as the whatchamacallit from Byron. I like you.
I like you.
Oh yeah.
I like you.
All
right, I got my creature.
Go for it, Monty.
Yeah, even when that scene first happens in Malignant, when we get to see Gabriel, still creeps me out. I mean, like, because they set it up decent because you don't know what they're talking about, and then next thing you know, we actually see the back of her head, and we actually see Gabriel. I was like, "Ooh, man, that's creepy looking. Ooh, man, he looks terrible." Yeah, it's still creepy. Yeah, but that's what really made the scene was that seeing Gabriel for the first time.
Oh, Gabriel. I will forever love that movie for whipping chairs at cops.
You mean the video game
That
segment of the
goddamn
movie?
scene. Yes, no, that Malignant. I liked Malignant up to that point. The part that makes me love Malignant is the scene in the police station where he's just fucking taking everyone out, and when he takes the one asshole out by just yeeting a chair entirely across like a mile-long police precinct.
Yeah,
So good.
that's a great that scene and the scene where he kicks all the women's butt in the jail cell.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
That's cool. Kind of Jekyll and Hyde, modern Jekyll and Hyde character.
Mhm.
For me, I'm gonna go the weird route and go with a robot, and it's not the one you might think. It's Mark 13. I don't know if anyone's here has seen Hardware. Hardware is brilliant.
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've seen that one though.
So it's set in a post-apocalyptic future where this soldier, his girlfriend is a fucking sculptor, and he finds parts for a military-grade robot and brings them back so she can make a sculpture out of him, and the fucking thing comes alive.
Ooh.
But it is the inbuilt capacity. It has to prevent life at all costs, even giving itself a drill penis to drill out Nancy Travis's vagina. It's just that fucking mean, that fucking crazy. And I suppose I'd be pissed off too if someone spray painted the American flag onto my fucking head. But it's a mean, nasty movie. The only good thing the Mark 13 does is there's this pervert that's spying on Nancy Travis, and she almost gets to escape to the apartment, but he invites himself in, and the Mark 13 drills into the dude's face and then pulls everything that's inside the dude's head outside his head. It's a fucking wonderful scene, and I love that robot. I mean, like, you know, fucking it's Ted Bundy if he was a Terminator. That's the only fucking way to describe Mark 13. And it's weird as well. If he can't kill you with blades, he'll poison you with an aphrodisiac. If you haven't seen fucking Hardware, check it out because it's an awesome, awesome fucking movie.
Kind of sounds like Tietso or Tiet. Oh, what the hell is it? It's a Japanese movie. It's black and white. It's really low budget.
Tetsuo the Body Hammer. I'd say he was influenced. Christian, who's the director of
Richard Stanley was definitely. He said in interviews he was influenced by Tetsuo. Yeah.
And 2001 or not 2000 AD comics. That was what he might have been influenced by.
Yeah.
So
those are the main ones. Shame he's a sex pest.
Possibly.
Confirmed.
God
damn it, Richard Stanley.
You love the one.
I
you had one job. Make creepy
one job
and not molest women. But yeah, question 4. Who did Mad Scientist better? Universal or Hammer?
Ooh.
That's a hard question.
It always comes back to
that's what she said.
That's why I asked Jen first. That's why I'm asking Jen. I'm messing with you, babe. I wouldn't do that to you. I'll ask Sean because he's the fucking connoisseur of classic horror.
Sean, what are you going to do with this hard thing in front of you?
He's going to put one of them in his mouth.
I knew he was going to choose Hammer.
Hammer.
Okay.
Woohoo.
Mainly, you had the Dr. Jekyll's films and the Frankensteins. That's enough, You get that whole series of Frankenstein movies, and they're just fantastic. I love it. I love every one of them. I love the two faces of Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde is great, and then there's the new one coming out, Dr. Jekyll.
They're good, Sean, but did any of them derail a train while invisible and dancing wearing a pair of pants?
He has a fair point.
No.
There's a good argument there.
No, I see where you're coming from. There's a lot more malicious kind of evil fucking, like 9 times out of 10 you feel bad for the Universal scientists. It's just them just fucking around and things get away from 'em. While 9 times out of 10 Universal mad scientists are just fucking sex pests and fucking they just want to chop up naked women and shit like that. So yeah, I'll give it to Sean. Cara, what about you? Who is the more kind of eviler or meaner or more dangerous, or who done mad scientists better? Universal or Hammer?
I'd say Hammer. They were definitely a lot more. Some of them, at least, I feel like, especially Peter Cushing, was a lot more vile. He was kind of like one of those characters that you love to hate.
Yeah.
Real reprehensible personality.
But he was very well written. It's like they're not throwaway characters, and I mean, Hammer, in my opinion, generally has better scripts anyway.
Nice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to lead. It looks like it's going to be Hammer time. Triv, what about you? Who is your favorite? Who do you think's the better mad scientist?
I appreciate all the jailblazing that they did, but I'm gonna have to go Hammer as well. There's just something about the way that they took established stories and established characters and flipped them on their head while maintaining the integrity of the originals. And the worlds feel, especially the scientists, feel more real. They feel like the places and the everything that they did felt more lived in. It didn't feel like you look at a Universal background of a lab, it could have been any lab, but like the labs and facilities for the mad scientists, generally they just had more of a unique feel and look. Like if you see Frankenstein's like machines, you know that it's a Hammer's Frankenstein. And there's no question. There's something so distinct. I don't know. And that's more set design than anything, but that still encompasses part of the world. So
yeah, no, Hammer seems to have
That's
a lot
brilliant.
more personality.
That's actually a really good point. Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
Monty, who do you think does mad scientists better?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Hammer does it well. I think when it comes to Universal, we feel a little bit pity when it comes to their mad scientists because they think they're doing something good, but it turns out to be something evil. Whereas Universal's these men, especially Peter Cushing's Victor Frankenstein, he's just a vile man. He doesn't care. He's just. When you take a look at his performances as Van Helsing and in the Dracula films, but then when you take a look in Peter Cushing in the Frankenstein films from Hammer, he's a totally different person. He's not a nice guy. He's a vile guy. He does things, and that's all in their films. They seem more authentic. They seem more determined, and nothing's going to get them in the way. They're willing to do the bad things, even though they think it's for the right reason, but it's for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, no. I think that there's more kind of danger or viciousness to the Hammer scientists. Jen, Sparky, what about yours?
For me, I'm actually gonna go against the crowd, and I'm gonna go Universal, pretty much for every reason you guys articulated very well. If you want mean-spirited, yeah, definitely go to Hammer. But for me, the thing that always hits me is when you hit me emotionally, and there is something about pity. When I pity you, when I have genuine compassion for you, that usually sticks with me a lot longer. I can see people doing vile things. We live in a very ugly world. That happens every day. But when we see people trying to thinking they're doing it for the right reasons, that to me is a much more complex thing and much more interesting. But also a Universal, you got to give it up. When we think Frankenstein, what do we think of that? Not to say that Triv is absolutely right. Hammer does do it really good, but there's something iconic about Universal. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. And we've got the bride, right, and we've got all of that. There's something magic about that, and like Hammer will give you flash, but there is something iconic about Universal, and there's something comforting, and to me there's a little more meat to chew on.
I can understand that.
Oh yeah.
I always find the dichotomy of the two companies' depictions of like their mad scientists to be really interesting because, as we've alluded to several times, Hammers usually were like more like Universals were tragic figures. They were characters that lived in the gray, maybe because the movies were in black and white.
And I always felt that was more interesting. Not to say that Hammer isn't interesting, but I find gray characters much more interesting.
But they were a lot more tragic figures that you could like not root for, but feel compassion towards, whereas Hammers definitely were a lot more like villainous, dastardly bastards. And again, I kind of wonder if that might almost be due to the time periods they were made in. Like most of the iconic parts, like Dr. Frankenstein, Invisible Man, I believe was even tail lines of this, were created like pre-atomic bomb and all that. So like humanity was like a little bit more optimistic towards like what scientists can do and stuff. Like, you know, they're going to help us. It might be a little bit misguided sometimes, but they're doing the right thing, right? Whereas we get to the point of the Hammer films, we're like, no, they're not. They just nuked the country and ruined people's lives. They're evil. We hate science.
Kind of like the Nazi doctors in World War II, because some of them thought they were doing it, you know, but and we did get some medical procedures from them.
As we've gone over earlier.
The amount of inoculations and vaccinations and procedures that allowed man to fucking traverse space. And it's like, sometimes you have to ask yourself in your darkest moments, does the ends justify the means with stuff like that?
Right.
The greater
but for me,
good.
I will give it to, just for preference, I will give it to a Hammer. But I have the utmost love and respect for the Universal's style of things, and there's a lot of interest. And I'm very curious to see if that trend with Hammer is going to continue whenever the Susie Izzard Jekyll film finally gets its wider release. I'm very curious to see if that continues the classic thing of Hammer's doctors being like a lot more mean-spirited and violent, or if they're going to be a little bit more compassionate with her portrayal of things.
I don't know. I kind of feel like we might go I know it's a Hammer film, but I think we might go Universal.
I don't know. I'm curious. Like the previews we've gotten of it seems like she's kind of a piece of shit, and I'm kind of interested in seeing that. Plus, like Susie are just great at playing like that type of role, and you don't get to see her do it very often. So,
they're very good.
I'm going to have to side with my gorgeous girlfriend, and not only because she's my girlfriend and gorgeous and fantastic, but because I genuinely think that we wouldn't have Hammer horror without Universal. I genuinely
think absolutely.
Oh, yes. I do agree with that.
But I don't know. I think it's everyone's preference. Let's see, like it's Coke and Pepsi. It's like they're two the same tins, but they have a different flavor. Maybe that's
you know what movie does it with both of them? Bram Stoker's Dracula. You have the villainous, but you also have the compassion.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Yeah. That kind of blends both worlds pretty perfectly.
And I know it's not liked, but kind of akin to that is Kenneth Branagh's adaptation of Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
I'm getting Holmes there. I'm like, oh, what the fuck's he bumming that up for?
Frankenstein. It exists.
No, but do you guys not like it? Do you think it's a terrible adaptation?
I like it.
I don't think it's
it's interesting.
I don't think it's a terrible.
It was okay.
It's a very I think it's overly complicated for its own good. I think Branagh was desperately trying to ape and copy what Coppola did with instead of bringing his own
by trying to get the
I was gonna say that very romanticized, just like the Dracula was.
Like at least we didn't get Frankenstein's monster looking in the mirror going, "Are you talking to me?" I don't see any other fucking reanimated.
As someone who's familiar with Branagh's output before that film, I kind of wish he would have just stuck to his style up to that point and done a proper Frankenstein movie in his own style, as opposed to doing the romanticized take on the classic.
The Coppola Dracula.
Because that's very much what it feels like he's doing. Because watching that movie, comparison to a lot of Branagh's other films around that time, it's very weird and out of tone and out of sync with his other films of that period.
It kind of is, and that was like my first one to start. How does everyone feel about Robert De Niro? I mean, this is a perfect stream to talk about it.
It's fine.
One of our iconic actors ever.
It's not Gary
bad,
Oldman
like-
Dracula.
No.
It's but it's not bad. It's an
Yeah, it's
interesting
not
It's
bad. I
pathetic.
mean, a lot of people were a bit confused because if you don't read Mary Shelley's novel, you don't understand that Frankenstein learns to speak English, in the
Yeah.
book. And
Yeah,
so a
by
lot of
the end, he's actually
Yeah.
like smart. You know.
he's very smart because most people's first interaction with Frankenstein is Frankenstein and the Universal Frankenstein, which he
Yeah.
does speaks,
Mhm.
but he does speak. In the Bride of Frankenstein, but they're more
Yeah.
into that one. So
Mhm.
when
He gets
Next thing you
smarter
know,
over the
Robin,
course
they were
of the
speaking, it's
original
like-
movies. Yeah.
people's like Frankenstein, like, yeah, you can talk. Did
I,
you read the
I
book?
think I think the zeitgeist has like the whole thing. This guy with the flat top and the bolts on his neck, and the
Yeah.
kind of that for the longest period of time, and still is that kind of visage of Frankenstein. Like even the movies that came after, even the terrible Van Helsing movie, and
I was just
and the
going to
Mon-
mention that.
Yeah, I was too.
they kept the idea of this
Keyword,
big
terrible.
hulking. Yeah, they kept the idea of the hulking kind of monster with the bolts on the neck, and I think it was just maybe too much of a departure for people. That like
Yeah.
as Monty elegantly pointed out, this is closer to the novel. This is the creature that was
Right.
featured in the novel. He's calculating, he is cold, but he has emotion and he's able to communicate. And I think that I don't think enough people give him a fair shake. So yeah, guys, my last question. Thank God you're probably saying, Jesus fucking.
You're doing great, Marty.
Let us out.
I wouldn't be able to fucking do half this shit if it wasn't for the gorgeous lady underneath Sean there and her help, because I was like, oh, what do I ask? What do I do? And I was kind of just running stuff by her. So I any kind of inspiration I have is the lady with the fantastic bow
Aw.
in the far corner.
I
So
thought it was
yeah.
an excellent idea, Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so did I.
It is
Well,
fantastic. To both of you.
Again, I wouldn't
Marty-
have a
Marty's the
segment of
one that came up with it.
inspiration. No, I wouldn't have a segment of the inspiration. if it
Marty,
wasn't for the
stop
gorgeous-
being so damn Irish and just say and just take the
Take a
praise.
compliment.
I
you
can't.
motherfucker.
It's not in me DNA.
I don't care if
We're
it
not
gives
allowed
you
to
heartburn
compliments.
and makes your skin
We
rot off.
use the
Take
form
a
of
freak.
goodwill, blow
Just
the
say
big
thank
people. We
you.
can't. Anyway,
Marty,
right,
Marty,
moving on
Marty,
from problematic
Marty.
political kind of things.
Marty,
Yeah,
Marty.
just say
Marty.
thank you.
Marty.
Marty.
anyway, right, moving on.
Just do it so we can get on with it.
I was about to do
You
De Niro.
fucker.
Marty.
Well,
Marty.
okay, so
Marty.
Yeah, that's what she was
Sean,
doing. She was doing the Marty thing. She was doing De Niro.
Sean,
You sleep with my
right,
wife?
What? What the fuck? Jen, I don't know where he came with that fucking. I don't know where he came out with that statement. Right, moving
Look,
on.
even Dice is shouting to stick the effing compliment.
Okay. So Sean,
Just take it. You're at gunpoint.
last question. One real scientific or discovery advancement that scares the shit out of you.
So,
That's
all
a
right,
great
got it.
question.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
For me, it's the idea of human cloning that
Ah.
terrifies me. And that's the fact that it's something that may be able to happen someday. It seems like we are possibly moving towards that, and that scares the crap out of me. To have an exact clone of me running around that could. It makes me think of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They're gonna have like no emotion. They'll be cold and
Just people
freaky. You know?
fucking Donald Sutherland
That's
just
scary.
pointing at, screaming at people. God damn it, fucking Nancy no, not Nancy Cartwright. Veronica
No, that's
Cartwright.
Veronica
Can't catch a break.
Veronica
that's
Cartwright,
right.
Veronica
right.
Cartwright can't catch a break with extraterrestrials. Cara, what about
No, she
you? What
cannot.
is one scientific advancement that scares the living shit out of you?
I wouldn't say really scared, but it's just kind of like the whole fact that it's still new and we really don't know how far it can or will go is the idea of AI. But I think that thought makes several people uncomfortable.
Skynet.
Yes.
I'm actually I'm gonna double up on what Kara's saying. like lots of people joke, oh, it's AI. It's only like, you know, it's a computer that can generate art, or computer can generate stories. That seems like technology is taking out the aspect of the human soul, our soul to create, the idea that we will no longer need to be a creative species. And I think that removes one of the key elements of what it is to be human. I mean, like you look at things like the hieroglyphs on pyramids or cave paintings, or like art and written culture, I think is the keystone of what it is to be a species, a human species. And if you remove that, then is that our soul? Is that what makes us human? Gone? Is that what it makes us redundant? Now maybe I'm being a bit melodramatic there, but that's the one thing. And I'm with Cara. AI art and AI kind of creativity is the one thing that puts the shits up me. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Sorry, Cara, I shan't hide your pick.
No. I mean, we both think similar, but we have different views on it, so it still works.
Yeah. What about yourself, Triv? What kind of technological terror fucking keeps you up at night?
Actually, the same one as you guys. I think there's a time and place for it, but I think that it's being used in a weird way. Like, I think AI generally has uses, but like the fact that it's gone for the creative aspect of things as compared to like the emphasis being elsewhere. Like you say, it's that, like the movie Wish I just saw the other day, and so there was some random joke going around that it was an AI written script, and you know what? I would not be surprised. It is the most generic, just soul sucking thing, you know. And I don't like Frozen, and I hate Let It Go. But there's like there's all these songs that try to imitate what Let It Go was, but you don't get that from it because it's just there. It's just generic and just there's no soul.
You hated Frozen?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did not like Frozen, but I love Frozen compared to Wish.
I also think Frozen is kind of mid.
Yes.
Where did the fuck did Frozen come out of? Jesus fuck. No,
I'm just saying, like the idea of the idea. Sorry.
But you're so Triv, you're kind of like with me and Cara in that it's a dangerous thing that's taken any kind of aspect of creativity out of our hands as a species. Yeah.
Well, it's weird because it does, but it doesn't. It the thing is, it takes it out of our hands, but then like you talk to people that aren't, you know, necessarily well versed in different kinds of art, and it allows them to create stuff, but it's not something that it's based off of some other people's work.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, like, that's what bugs me.
I have friends who work in like the comic book industry and stuff, and they're fucking pissed off because what it does is it goes across the fucking internet, it picks out aspects from images and uses them in the fucking kind of search engine that's typed in. But as my friend said, art and creativity needs to be a struggle. You need to get from point A to point B to point C.
You need to learn.
Yeah, exactly. There shouldn't be any shortcuts in creativity.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, as much as I joke about the avatar you see on screen, I had to learn how to do this technology, do this software to do it justice. And I'm not even that good at it. So like, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to pull anything from it, but that's just the ins and outs of it. And it's kind of disheartening sometimes to see that. So it's great that it opens it up to more people, but the problem is that there needs to be understanding of what goes into at least some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There is no art is something that should not be achieved. Someone cannot create a good piece of art without at least some level of struggle and effort put into it. You know, that's not because then you'll just end up with a bunch of garbage. Fucking, it leads to bad art. It leads to shit like
you're gonna lead to like Winnie the Pooh.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah,
It leads to stuff like these recent boom of these shitty public domain movies that just exist to get headlines on news sites.
Creative stagnation, Christian, is what.
Yeah, exactly. It destroys exactly. Like that's why I hate stuff like Winnie the Pooh and all of these movies like it so goddamn much, because I do genuinely feel it is absolutely hurting the horror industry and the creative industry and art as a whole.
Monty, what about yourself?
It's the AI thing. I mean, mean, it's just. I mean, just recently they had to you had these fake images of Taylor Swift going around. It was AI generated. It's like all this other stuff like that, and it's just a bit scary to me. And it's just like this, a person should be able to learn how to create on their own, not have some algorithm created for you. You should take the time and the effort, just like I went to school to become a tech guy. I did that on my own. I was the one that read all the books and learned how to take computers apart and put them back together. I did not have to have some type of computer program do it for me. That's what scares me a lot. Then again, we have Terminator.
Right.
I don't know if it's a toss up between fucking the human race being wiped out by a nuke or us losing our fucking kind of soul. I don't know which is worse. I genuinely can't say which would be the worst. Like
Nuke us.
Go,
But
Christian.
no,
Nuki!
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 Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie hard.
Oh, I'm missing a joke.
Oh,
There's an amazing ET knockoff from South Africa called Nuki.
Oh, it's not amazing.
It is the greatest movie ever made, besides Mac and Me.
No.
Maybe
Red
if
Letter
it were
Media did a
Bollywood.
whole. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Apologies. Red Letter Media did a whole thing where they collected all of these Nuki tapes over the course of years and years, and then they shredded all of them with the exception of this one that they sent in to be like classified. They got it put in acrylic, and then they put it up on eBay, and it sold. I think it's the highest selling VHS ever put out, and all the proceeds went to charity.
Interesting.
Yeah. He does a little dance. Exactly.
Jen, what about yourself?
Well, I think AI is, very dangerous just because what everyone has already articulated that, because the lack of creativity and art is what our humanity is. It's what our soul is. It's what causes emotions. It's dangerous. Another aspect of it, though, is the revenge part of it. You can take somebody's image and do whatever. That's kind of what scares me. You get pissed off at somebody and you can put them doing anything, and that's a little fucked up.
Oh no, absolutely. And even like removing just like the obvious like revenge porn aspect that I think you're getting to. There's a lot of like
there's other things you could do. Totally.
There's a lot of like keeping it in like the movie sphere. Look at what happened with The Flash last year of taking George Reeves' image to plaster up as his version of Superman, even though that was the role that killed him. And fun fact, The Flash released on the anniversary of George Reeves' suicide.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, damn, they picked that date.
Was it George Reeves or Christopher Reeves that's family said we don't want him to be part of this? Because there was a thing that came out not that long ago.
Was it both?
Okay.
Both. I think it's more Christopher Reeves than George Reeves.
Yeah.
Because George Reeves.
Wait, Christian, you're saying they didn't actually use Christopher Reeve or Nicolas Cage for that scene? But they looked so realistic.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing is I watched an interview. Cage talked about it. He came in and like got in the suit and stuff. Like he knew they were gonna digitally enhance his face and stuff, but he got in and he says, "That's not what I filmed. None of that what I filmed was in the movie, or even the original Flash actor. Why am I blanking on the name?
Grant
Marty, the Golden Age Flash." Grant.
The dude with the fucking helmet. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Jay
the Golden Age Flash.
Yeah, Jay Garrett. I know it too.
Jay Garrett. The cameo for Jay Garrett, that's not a real person. That is a complete AI facsimile of a person. That's not even a cameo. That's just someone they fucking made up so they could insert Jay Garrett in the movie and stuff. You have stuff like that just is removing the like and kind of backstabbing like the legacy. Like you have these big moments and you want to celebrate the legacy of all of these DC films that came before it, and you're shitting on all of them.
Well, it's the same thing with music. Look at how many of these concerts where they have these dead people come, like Whitney Houston's done it. Other has done it too. And it's just, and I guess if you didn't get to see them when they were live, but it isn't the same thing,
foolish.
people. It's just not.
Art is not something
that's right. It's foolish. It's absolutely fucking weird.
like art is something that should be preserved as much as possible,
Yes.
but art is never something that is meant to be eternal, that lasts for eons and eons. It can possibly,
your work can, not the
your work,
artist.
Yeah, exactly. But stuff like that, sometimes you just miss your opportunity to do that, and you can just appreciate the art more for what you have now as opposed to that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, there's something about going to, even if it's people you love. Like, I never got to see Petty live, but I wouldn't want to go see one.
Exactly.
No.
How do you feel about James Earl Jones selling his voice to Disney?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
That's a weird one, because like I feel he's definitely being exploited, but he's also like, I just want to get my money and I don't really care. So I don't know, that's a weird gray area.
It's like a twofer. I'd say he was well paid, because if they want to do 20 more Lion King movies, or God help us, fucking 500 more.
You're not talking about that. You're not talking about that.
Vader, like, till the end of
about
time
that
now,
new Mustafa movie that's coming out.
Oh, fuck me sideways. I didn't know about that.
That's for later, Marty.
Oh, Jesus.
They could do 1,000 more Darth Vader movies 100 years after he dies.
How do you guys feel about oh, go ahead, Christian.
No, go ahead. I was just going to ask. And it comes back for me. One last thing. It comes back to like the fact that, generally speaking, the people funny studios are not studio heads, as we've seen with stuff like the recent writer's strike and stuff. Studio execs don't give a fuck as long as they can turn a profit. So if they can use AI as a cheaper way instead of actually paying people to make them their ideas that make them money, that's why I'm so vehemently against studios and stuff. Is it just leads to shit like this, and why I hate like the Disney Fox merger, just because it gives them more power than they already have. They have more cards on the table than they really should have had.
Yeah.
How
that
do you
was the
guys...
whole point of the actors' strike, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about that, that was just the beginning. What's it going to be like 30 years from now?
Yeah.
But, it's better to address that now than, because they hadn't done anything like this, hadn't updated anything since like the 80s, I think. So all of that stuff that's
on this level, yeah.
But like it was good, even if it wasn't good for them, it was good that they did it so they could bring it up to date and address all these things, to get it out there. Because like streaming alone, much less everything else that's come about since then, the landscape of movies and media has changed so much in the past 5 years, much less the past 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
But I was going to ask, how do you guys feel about, I think it was makeup and hair last year. The Oscar went to The Whale for Brendan Fraser. That was 90% digital.
Yeah.
Like
I thought that was practical. He wasn't
a
wearing
lot
the
of
fat
it.
suit?
It was a large portion of it was digital.
Didn't he put on a lot of weight though? He did.
Fat suit mostly.
I thought he put on.
He put on some, but mostly it was a fat suit, and a lot of it was digital.
At the end of the day, guys, there's people that have put on prosthetics and stuff, and studios have gone, actually, that doesn't work. Let's just cover it with fucking CG.
The 2009 film. Yeah.
I was going to just say that.
Yeah, because I know in the Nutty Professor, Eddie Murphy had a fat suit on.
Yeah.
Like I love Prey. One issue I have, and I like the design of the face, but that face was digitally fucking rendered. And if you watch the behind the scenes, they had a fucking practical mask made with fucking motors and animatronics and stuff in it, but they were like, no, it looks too rubbery, let's put the fucking CG on. And it's like, motherfucker, again, he doesn't take his mask off long enough, but it is obvious, especially with the eyes. That's one thing AI I think will never, you'll always have Uncanny Valley when it comes to trying to do eyes.
Oh, yes.
Hair too.
Yeah, because I saw Prey sometime a couple weeks ago, and you can see the practical effects from the digital effects especially when it comes to the Predator, and sometimes I think during the fights you can see that it's
yeah. Once that mask comes off, like, luckily enough, it's the kind of last battle is shot at nighttime, but even then you're like, this is a bit fucking fucking cartoony. But I still love the movie. I adore the
yeah.
fucking movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it
absolutely.
doesn't take away from how great the movie was. Yes.
Yeah. But that's the thing too. It's like you think about like the way that visual effects have changed over the course of time. You look at something even from 8 years ago, and it looks like something that was in most cases was done by like Asylum. You know, the practical effects, say what you will about them, but they hold up better over the course of time. The quality will not change whether you look at it now or in 20 years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bad practical always
remember
look better than bad CG.
Jurassic Park was a double-edged
yeah.
sword because once like mid-90s came about, you had so many movies bandying around with fucking CG, and they do not hold up.
That's the thing, though. They didn't have the same quality. The caliber of work that was done was not the same as Jurassic Park. Therein lies the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
Exactly.
movie was clever enough to balance it because they used Stan Winston's practical effects along with the fucking CG. So they didn't shove a fucking computer game down your throat. Yeah, so that's all my questions, guys. Have you any that you wanted to pose to the panel, or are we kind of sorted, or is there any other topic you wanted to bring up?
Mhm.
Nuki does a little
Sparky said something
He-
like,
he's got Nuki.
Nuki.
I feel bad for Monty. He's right in the middle of us.
Monty, you need to see Nuki. You need to see Nuki. That's what we need to do.
Okay. Creepy Mickey came up with a good question, and I
No, it's all-
gotta ask Jen first because this is a Jen question right here, babe. If you were a mad scientist, what would your evil goal be?
Probably something with sex.
you'd be the invisible woman, right? 'Cause then you get,
Probably.
Breaking in on me while I'm having a shower. Just like, ooh, what's that noise? What's that noise? God damn it, Jen! I told you. Monty, what about you? If you were a
Probably.
mad scientist,
If I were a mad scientist, I would probably wouldn't make myself invisible. I would just make myself the smartest man in the world.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Triv, what about you?
To quote MST3K, I want to decide who lives and dies.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
God complex.
Damn right.
God damn it,
Sean,
yeah.
what about
Why do you think I'm wearing the glasses?
Because you're cool.
Damn right.
Sean, what about you?
I would make art come to life, like
Oh, that's a
paintings
good
or
one.
drawings
Yeah.
or something come alive literally out of the drawings and the paper and the canvas.
Nice.
Could be a good thing, could be bad, could be weird.
Yeah.
Dude, if people tried to like throw soup at like the Mona Lisa, you could do that and have like the Mona Lisa chase them down with like a giant
shit out of
knife
them,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Kara, what about you? If you were an evil mad scientist, what would your plan to be?
I'm not sure on that. I would probably do something a lot more like dystopian, kind of like separate who gets to breed, who doesn't, just based off of intelligence.
Jesus Christ! What were you doing? Anyway,
What?
I have an idea, totally original, right? And I think it would be for the benefit of man, and it would be great, right? So I would love to have my own island, right, where you breed prehistoric
Oh, no.
animals in a zoo. Okay. I
Okay,
mean, what
Dr.
could go
Moreau.
wrong? What could go wrong, really? But yeah, that's
T-Rexes everywhere.
Mhm.
T-Rexes.
Yeah, you get to have a raptor called Blue.
Erections.
No, a Titan boa. I'd have a Titan boa that was like a snake the length of two fucking school buses. That would have been cool. Just a giant snake. And Jen, before you say anything, I mean literally a giant snake.
The island of
Not an
Dr. Martin.
anaconda.
Exactly. Yes, I just
Oh,
that would be
that's
mine. I
cool.
would have a
Smart
weird eye.
deal. I get to wear an ice bucket on my
Damn
head.
it, I was gonna say that.
Oh man.
I want to have an ice bucket.
But yeah, guys, that was my question.
You don't have to be a mad scientist for that, though.
Nope.
But it helps.
That's true. But it helps. And then I will give cats thumbs.
Oh God!
No,
They'll take
no,
over
no,
the
not
world.
T-Rexes. No.
T-Rex.
We already had shark Rexes. Actually, no, we don't need a.
Oh, dude, you
The
could do
power
Tammy and
of
the
evolution
T-Rex.
compels you. The power of evolution.
Exactly.
Yeah, we already had shark exorcists. We don't need that.
Ooh.
Don't give Trip any ideas.
Oh no, that movie sucks.
Yes,
Guys,
it does.
I'm gonna round it off here, but I hope I didn't annoy you too much with my terrible questions.
Ugh, terrible.
No,
Just
that
the
was
worst.
good, Marty.
Okay, but Marty, here's the thing. You said
Worst.
that Jen helped you with all the questions, and now you're saying they're annoying.
No.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you
Yes.
insult your good lady like that?
Thanks a lot,
How
Trish,
dare.
for fucking up my relationship. Thank
Well, now
you.
you guys can have angry sex.
Apologize to her, you bastard.
I am sorry. I genuinely am sorry. Look, right. Fucking moving on. Right. Cara, what's in the pipeline for horror retrospective?
I haven't set up any other live streams, but I definitely want to keep up with video discussions, like film discussions. I just haven't figured out which films, but I definitely need to get back with Eric on Renfield. We've been wanting to do that one for a while.
Cool.
Last year's Renfield.
Right on.
Yes.
Yep.
Sean, what about yourself?
I have the Morbid Hour on Wednesday night at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, talking about misunderstood horror.
Nice.
That's a good topic.
Howling 3 and 2.
What about
Somebody
the
might
Master
mention it, not me, but somebody.
What
I
about
love
the
the third
Master
Howling.
Fields?
I included both of them. I think both Howling 2 and 3 are underrated gems.
Ballerina werewolves.
They're
Hellraiser
ballerina
4.
werewolves, werewolf nuns, thylacines. They got pouches. It's a perfect movie.
What
I
about
love it.
Hellraiser Bloodlines?
I like that
Bloodline.
movie.
Is it as good as the first two? No, but it's better than most of the others.
That's
Which
not
is
saying
difficult,
much.
That's not
but
saying
still.
much.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it isn't a weird knockoff of 7 for some reason.
What about the incest one in Mexico?
Revelations, the
Yeah.
worst one. Yeah, that
Well,
one.
would that be considered misunderstood, Sean?
No, it's just bad.
Oh,
I
Hey,
someone it's bad.
Someone's misunderstood if someone
Sorry,
else
Jen.
is bad.
Sorry, Jen. It's still a bad movie, even if it has incest in it.
Aw.
No, I'm with you. I can't even stand up for that one. I just wondered, maybe someone out there's like, you know what, guys, let's give this one a chance.
Sure.
Let's give peace a chance and Hellraiser Revelation.
No, I can't get behind peace then.
Triv, what about you? What is coming up for Trivial Theater?
Tomorrow I release an SOV review of Attack of the Killer Refrigerator, and then week after that is Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, and then I'm doing Hottie and
Nice.
Naughty.
I like the Jesus.
Nice.
I
Christ.
love
it's
Jesus
so
Christ
good.
Vampire Hunter.
It's so funny. Oh my god, I love it. Talking ice cream.
Talking ice cream.
Or-
Kung Fu atheists.
oh my god.
What? Never mind.
Just go check it out.
Monty, what about you, sir? What is going to be next for you?
I'm trying to figure that out. I know I have a special project that I'll be working on. That's why I have to talk to Kara and Jen. I will reach out to you about the special project I'll be working on. That'll be coming out in March. But yeah. Just waiting for some horror movies to come out. Like I said, I was trying to watch, Project Dorothy, but just couldn't get to that. It's like, where all the good horror movies come? It's like there's
Where
none.
have all the horror movies gone?
Candyland, Monty, watch Candyland. It's amazing.
Yes, I did put my trailer reaction for stop motion. That's up on the channel right now.
I'll check that out, Monty, because that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, and I might do there's another trailer that I saw on Blake discussing called Immaculate. I might do a trailer reaction for that.
Mm.
I know you can't wait for Mickey Mouse Trap.
Oh
God.
I was on Letterboxd and I saw something that I don't know if Jen will love or hate. So there was a review for Candyland, right? And you know the way people can leave their things. And someone said, this is nothing like the board game at all. I'm like, are you fucking for me?
Who said anything about the board game?
Review.
They thought it was you know the way there's adaptions of everything. I think some poor bastard thinks it's yeah. Jane,
You mentioned that, I think, when we did the review.
Jane, Christian, what about you? What have you got?
We are playing, like Monty said, there's not a lot right now, but there were some movies we missed in 2023, so we're playing catch up with that. And I am working on, there was a movie Christian and I watched the other day, and Sparky got called away. And they weren't vibing with this movie.
Like it.
They didn't, and I'm kind of thinking of doing a solo review on this movie. It's kind of doing in my head. It might be a few weeks down the road, but it's kind of in my head because Christian and I have very different opinions. Christian didn't finish it, but we also are playing catch up, and we have a Tales from the Crypt. Probably not on Sunday. My brilliant Tales from the Crypt Sunday. Personal matters.
Sorry about that, creepy. Life's been kind of hectic, but we've watched our next episode. It should be out either tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, and it's an Ernie Hudson episode, so there's a lot to say about this.
Nice.
That should be a cracker. So so definitely check out these awesome people's channels. And for everyone who came by, I just want to say a big thanks to Corey, John Steele, Brittany, TYTD, Creepy McGee, who's always around, and who else? Dice was in, and Dan. Dan and Horror Cat Dad. Thanks a million for everyone who came by. This stream would not even be an iota as good as it could be if it wasn't for these fantastic folks. And so definitely check out their channels, and have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye now.
Peace.
Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.